Hey, thanks for stopping by my Teacher Pay Teacher store. My name is Jason McClure, and this is Algebra Help Desk. Here's our free resource. It's our pacing guide. Just some things you need to know. It is pretty generic because I believe every classroom, every teacher has a different story, and you're going to be at different places. So I wanted to come up with a pacing guide that's more of a general outline. So that's my thought process here. Some things that you need to know about the resources I create, especially the worksheets. I'm a huge fan of differentiation. I believe every student's different. I believe every classroom's different, and I believe every teacher's different. And we all have different needs. With that said, our worksheets, especially like the individual group worksheets, they have 3 levels. Entry, which is just for the students who are either struggling, maybe need some additional support. But these are the most basic, straightforward problems. There's no twist, there's no turns. A lot of these problems are exactly like what you would see in the examples. The emerging problems are simple but challenging. So there's a few slight twists and turns, but not enough to turn kids off to math. And then finally we have our expert problems. These are complex, challenging problems, and we really use these problems to force students to apply what they've learned and to apply multiple concepts at once. Our worksheets, they build off from each other, so what you do in lesson 1 is going to prepare you for lesson 2 all the way throughout our course. We're working on warm-ups for each topic. We're working on Google Slides, and we're working on exit tickets. Currently, we have all of the worksheets. We have our entry, emerging, and expert level worksheets for all of Algebra 1. And we're currently in the process of building, and I say we, it's just me, our warm-ups, exit slips, slides, and collaboration exercises. But we start off with Unit 1, and that's just your foundations of algebra. It's a review of pre-algebra. And we go from that to solving equations. And we start with one-step equations, and we go to two-step, multi-step, variables on both sides. Then we introduce equations with none, infinite, or no solutions. And by the way, in this section, a lot of these problems are going to be recycled when we get to systems of equations. Because in systems of equations, sometimes we have infinite or no solutions. So the goal with this particular lesson in our equation section is to really prime kids to be ready for systems of equations. And we model and we take that practice throughout every worksheet. For example, literal equations, a lot of our equations, especially on the entry and emerging, we're solving for y because we want to get kids used to solving for y. Now when you get to the expert levels here, you have a lot more formulas and sciencey sort of stuff. We also have proportions, percent of change. We go from solving equations to solving inequalities. And once again, the same pattern holds for solving inequalities. Then we move into linear functions. We just introduced functions. With the types of functions, we foreshadow quadratics, exponential, different kinds of functions they'll see later. At this point, they're just identifying the graph, but it's letting kids know that, hey, there's more than straight lines. And then after that, we move into systems of equations, which I like to do as a standalone unit. Then we move into exponents and exponential functions. Here we foreshadow the quadratics, the squaring function. Then we move into polynomials and factoring because we want to get kids ready to solve equations or quadratic equations by factoring. And then we move into Unit 8, quadratics, and that's where we end our Algebra 1 course. It's been my experience, even though there's other standards. Typically, in the 8th or 9th grade Algebra 1, this is all we get through. If there's time at the end, yeah, maybe we'll do some data analysis. I hope you like this free resource. If there's something on this you'd like to see, or if there's some corrections or any kind of feedback you want to give me, just let me know because I'm here to make your job easier.